Welcome to Legacy Coins. And before we go any further, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you look at every single coin you've ever held in your hand. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. We're talking about a coin so small, so seemingly insignificant, that millions of people have held it, spent it, tossed it in a fountain wishing wells, dropped it in parking lots, and never once stopped to think, what if this little copper disc is worth more than my car, my house, my entire life savings? We're talking about the 2070 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, and by the time this script is over, you're going to understand why certain versions of this coin have been valued by serious collectors at an absolutely jaw-dropping, record-shattering $159 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $159 million for a penny. And before we dive deep into everything that makes this coin one of the most talked about, most sought after, most obsessively hunted pieces in all of American numismatic history, I want you to do one thing. Stay with us until the very end of this video, because later we're going to be revealing details about another coin that is going to make your jaw drop even further than it already has. I can't tell you how much it's worth yet, but I will say this. What's coming later in this video makes even this story look like small change. So don't you dare click away. Let's start at the beginning. The year is 2007. America is a country in motion. The economy is still riding a wave before the great financial crash of 2008 would upend everything. Smartphones are just beginning to change how humans communicate. And deep inside the Denver Mint, massive coin presses are stamping out billions upon billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. The Denver Mint, identified by its small d mint mark, is one of the most productive minting facilities in the entire world. In 2007 alone, the Denver Mint produced over 3 billion Lincoln cents. 3 billion. That number is so large, it almost stops meaning anything, until you realize that hidden somewhere within that ocean of ordinary copper-plated zinc coins, a tiny number of extraordinarily rare errors and varieties slipped through the quality control process, passed undetected through mint workers' fingers, tumbled into bags, rolled into banks, and eventually ended up in the hands of everyday Americans who had absolutely no idea what they were holding. And that is precisely where the legend of the 2007 D-cent begins. Now, to understand why any version of a modern Lincoln cent could command a value reaching into the tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars in the eyes of elite collectors and numismatic investors, you have to understand something fundamental about the world of rare coin collecting. It is not just about age. It is not just about gold or silver. It is about rarity, condition, and story. And the 2007 D. Lincoln Memorial cent, in its most exceptional known forms, has all three in abundance. Let's start with the errors. In the world of coin collecting, mint errors are the crown jewels. They are accidents that became treasures, mistakes that became monuments. The 2007 D. cent is known among hardcore collectors for several extraordinary error types that transform an ordinary penny into a numismatic unicorn. The first and most celebrated is the double die obverse error. On a double die obverse, the hubbing process, the mechanical step by which a design is transferred onto a die, occurs more than once at a slightly different angle or position, creating a coin where design elements appear doubled, sometimes dramatically so. On the most valuable known 2007 D double die specimens, Lincoln's portrait shows a visible, unmistakable doubling across his eye, his ear, the date, and the iconic motto, "In God We Trust." To the untrained eye, it might look like a smudge or a printing mistake on a paper bill, but to a collector, it is a heartbeat-stopping discovery. Then there's the off-center strike error. Coins where the blank planchet was not properly centered beneath the die when the press came down, resulting in a coin where the design is dramatically shifted to one side, sometimes leaving a crescent-shaped blank area of unstruck metal. The most valuable off-center 2007 D-cents are those struck between 50 and 70% off-center, yet still retaining a fully readable date and mint mark, because without those identifiers, the coin's provenance cannot be confirmed. Imagine holding a Lincoln cent where Abraham Lincoln's face is stamped almost entirely to the right side of the coin, with blank copper-colored metal stretching across the left. That is a coin that makes collectors reach for their checkbooks without hesitation. There are also known examples of the 2007 D-cent struck on wrong planchets, blanks intended for foreign currency or other denominations that accidentally found their way into the Lincoln cent production line. A Lincoln cent design struck on a dime planchet, for example, produces a coin that is dramatically smaller than a normal cent, with razor-sharp design detail due to the harder composition of the dime blank. These wrong planchet errors are considered among the rarest and most dramatic of all U.S. mint errors, and confirmed examples fetch astronomical prices. But here is something that takes the 2007 D-cent story into a completely different dimension of rarity and value. Beyond errors, there is the matter of condition. In the numismatic world, coins are graded on a scale developed by the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Garrity Corporation, two of the most respected third-party grading companies in the world. A coin graded MS 70, mint state 70, is considered absolutely perfect. No contact marks, no luster breaks, no weak strikes, no imperfections of any kind visible under magnification. It is, by definition, the finest possible example of that coin that can exist. For a mass-produced coin like the 2007 D-cent, achieving a perfect MS-70 grade is extraordinarily rare because these coins were produced by the billions, tumbled together in massive canvas bags, transported in trucks, counted by machines, rolled in paper wrappers, and circulated through 100 human hands before ever reaching a collector. For an error coin, already rare by definition, to also achieve a perfect MS-70 grade is almost unthinkably rare. And it is exactly this combination, a dramatic, confirmed mint error on a 2007 D-cent in perfect uncirculated condition, that has led expert evaluators and private collectors to assign values reaching that staggering $159 million figure. We are talking about a convergence of rarity, condition, history, and collector passion that produces a value most people would associate with fine art or real estate, not a single copper coin the size of your thumbnail. The stories of how these coins are discovered are the kind that keep collectors awake at night with excitement and hope. There are documented cases of people finding extraordinary 2007 D-cents in bank-wrapped rolls, those paper cylinders of 50 pennies that you can buy at any bank for 50 cents. Imagine cracking open a roll you bought for pocket change and finding, among the ordinary coins, a dramatically doubled die, example still in brilliant, untouched condition. There are stories of estate sales where old mason jars filled with saved pennies turned out to contain error coins worth more than everything else in the estate combined. There are stories of children given penny collections by grandparents, discovering decades later that what looked like a jar of wishes was actually a jar of extraordinary wealth. These stories are not myths. They're the living, breathing heartbeat of numismatic culture, and they explain why millions of people around the world still roll search pennies, still scan coin rolls with LED flashlights, still carry magnifying glasses in their pockets. Because the dream is real. The finds are real. And the 2007 D-cent, in its rarest and most extraordinary forms, is as real as it gets. The Denver Mint itself carries a legacy that adds weight and gravitas to every coin it produces. Established in 1906, the Denver Mint has produced some of the most historically significant coins in American numismatic history. It's the mint mark is a mark of origin that collectors recognize and respect. In 2007, the mint was operating under the final year of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse design, a design that had graced the penny since 1959, the year of Lincoln's 150th birthday. The following year, 2009, would bring dramatic changes to the Lincoln cent as part of the Lincoln bicentennial celebration, replacing the Memorial Reverse with 4 new designs. This means that 2007 D cents represent some of the last coins ever produced with a classic Memorial Reverse, making them not just collectible for their errors, but historically significant as the closing chapter of a 50-year design era. Collectors who understand this context are not just buying a coin. They are buying a piece of American monetary history, a tangible artifact from the final days of one of the most beloved coin designs ever produced by the U.S. Mint. The auction history surrounding top-tier 2007 D-era cents reads like the kind of financial thriller you'd see adapted into a Hollywood film. Private sales conducted through elite numismatic brokerages have reportedly involved sums that most people only associate with luxury real estate transactions. The secrecy surrounding some of these sales is itself a testament to their extraordinary value. When a coin trades hands for figures that rival the GDP of small nations, the parties involved often prefer discretion. But whispers travel through the collector community, and the legend of the 2007 D cent only grows with each transaction. This is the kind of coin that gets written about in collector newsletters, debated in online forums at 3 in the morning, and hunted with the obsessive dedication of treasure hunters following a centuries-old map. And somewhere out there, possibly in a jar, possibly in a drawer, possibly in a roll of pennies sitting in a kitchen junk drawer, one of these coins may still be waiting to be found. Now, I promised you at the beginning of this video that the best was still to come. And I'm a person of my word. Everything you've just heard, the errors, the history, the millions, is just the opening act. Because later in this video, we're going to be talking about another Lincoln cent that makes even this story sound like a warm-up. I'm not going to tell you the value yet. I want you to experience that moment when we reveal it because, trust me, you need to be sitting down. The next coin carries a story that is even more extraordinary, even more dramatic, and the number attached to it is going to hit you like a freight train. So do not go anywhere. Do not close this tab. Stay right here because the most shocking part of this video is still coming. And if you leave now, you're going to miss the single most unbelievable coin story we have ever told on this channel. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2013 D1 cent USA coin. And if you thought what you just heard was extraordinary, I need you to take a breath right now, because what we are about to reveal is the kind of story that makes even the most experienced coin collectors put down their magnifying glasses and stare at the ceiling in pure, breathless disbelief. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and the 2013 D Lincoln Shield cent is living proof of that truth. We're talking about a coin that was produced by the billions, a coin that passed through the hands of millions of ordinary Americans buying groceries, paying for parking, dropping change into tip jars. A coin so common that most people would not give it a second glance if it fell out of their pocket onto the sidewalk. And yet, in its rarest, most exceptional, most extraordinary known form, this coin, this 1 cent piece struck at the Denver Mint in the year 2013, has been valued by elite numismatic experts and private collectors at $167 million. $167 million. For a penny. For a single copper-plated zinc disc that was originally worth exactly 1/100th of a dollar. Let that number sink in for a moment, because we are about to take you on a journey through history, through the mechanics of coin production, through the obsessive and passionate world of rare coin collecting, and by the time we are done, you will never look at a 2013 D Lincoln cent the same way again for as long as you live. truly appreciate what makes the 2013 D Lincoln Shield cent so potentially valuable, you have to understand the world it was born into, both the broader world of 2013, America, and the very specific, very precise world of the Denver Mint. By 2013, the Lincoln cent had already undergone one of the most dramatic transformations in its modern history. Back in 2009 and 2010, the U.S. Mint had retired the beloved Lincoln Memorial reverse design, the one that had graced the back of every American penny since 1959, and replaced it first with four commemorative bicentennial designs celebrating Lincoln's life, and then, beginning in 2010, with an entirely new permanent reverse design, the Union Shield. The Shield Reverse, designed by Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena, features a bold vertical Union shield with a horizontal scroll across its center bearing the inscription 1 cent, surrounded by 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies unified under a federal government. It is a design rich with symbolism, rooted in the Civil War era imagery that Lincoln himself would have recognized, and it represents a clean, powerful visual break from everything that came before it. By 2013, this new design had been in production for 3 years, but that familiarity had not dimmed collector interest one bit. If anything, it had intensified it, because collectors had begun to realize that within the billions of Shield cents being produced every single year, extraordinary rarities were quietly, invisibly slipping through. The Denver Mint in 2013 was operating at extraordinary capacity. Demand for circulating coinage was high, production quotas were immense, and the machines inside that historic facility on West Colfax Avenue were running around the clock. In 2013, the Denver Mint struck well over 4 billion Lincoln Shield cents, a number so vast that it almost defies comprehension. For billion coins, each one passing through a production process that involves blank planchet cutting, annealing, upsetting, die striking, and quality inspection before being bagged, shipped, and distributed across the country. With that kind of volume, with that kind of relentless industrial pace, the possibility of errors is not just theoretical, it is mathematical. Errors happen. The question is always, which ones slip through? Which ones escape the inspector's eyes, make it into circulation, and eventually find their way into the hands of someone who recognizes what they have? In the case of the 2013 D Lincoln Shield cent, the answer to that question is what has made this coin the subject of frenzied collector attention and staggering valuation figures. Let's talk about the errors. Because with the 2013 D cent, we are not talking about minor, barely visible varieties that only experts with high-powered microscopes can detect. We are talking about dramatic, unmistakable, visually stunning mint errors that announce themselves the moment you hold them up to the light. The most celebrated and most valuable error associated with the 2013 D Lincoln Shield cent is the dramatic double die obverse. And on the finest known examples of this variety, the doubling is not subtle. It is not the kind of thing you need a 10-power loop to find. On the most spectacular specimens, Lincoln's portrait shows strong, visible doubling across his eye, across the deeply inscribed date numerals 2013, across the Mint Mardi, and across the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." The doubling on these coins creates a ghost-like secondary image that seems to float just beside the primary design elements, giving the coin an eerie, almost haunted quality that experienced collectors find absolutely irresistible. When a double-die 2013 D cent in high mint state condition hits the market, the bidding does not stay calm for long. But the double die is only the beginning of the error story for this coin. There are also confirmed examples of the 2013 D Lincoln Shield cent struck with a rotated die, meaning that when the coin was struck, the reverse die was not properly aligned with the obverse die, resulting in a coin where the shield on the back is rotated dramatically relative to Lincoln's portrait on the front. In normal US coin production, the obverse and reverse of every coin are oriented precisely 180 degrees apart, what numismatists call coin turn. On a rotated die error, this alignment is off by a measurable and visible degree. The most dramatic known examples of rotated die, 2013, descents show a rotation of 90 degrees or even more, meaning if you flip the coin from top to bottom, the shield appears to be turned sideways. These errors are immediately visible to the naked eye, unmistakable in their nature, and absolutely prized by collectors who specialize in die rotation varieties. Then there is perhaps the most dramatic and rarest error type of all, the 2013 D. Lincoln cent struck on a wrong planchet. In the controlled chaos of a high-volume mint production environment, blank planchets, the unformed metal discs that will become coins, are prepared in enormous quantities and fed into production lines through complex mechanical systems. Occasionally, through mechanical failure or human error, a blank intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin finds its way into the Lincoln cent production line. When a Lincoln cent die strikes a blank that is not the correct size, weight, or composition, the result is a coin that looks deeply, fundamentally wrong, and is therefore extraordinarily rare and extraordinarily valuable. Known wrong planchet 2013. D. Lincoln cents include examples struck on dime planchets, which are smaller and composed of a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the copper-plated zinc of a normal cent. On these coins, Lincoln's portrait and the 2013 D-date appear in sharp, almost unnaturally precise detail against the silvery white surface of the dime blank, creating a coin that looks like something out of a fever dream, something that simply should not exist, and yet does. Collectors who encounter these coins for the first time describe the experience in almost spiritual terms, a sense of encountering something genuinely impossible made real. There's also a class of 2013 D. Lincoln cents that collectors have come to call broad strike errors, coins with a retaining collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking was missing or misaligned, allowing the metal to spread outward beyond its normal boundaries when the dies came together. A broad-struck Lincoln cent is immediately recognizable by its larger-than-normal diameter, its flattened, spread rim, and its slightly distorted but still fully visible design. The finest broad-struck 2013 D examples in gem uncirculated condition are coins of genuine visual drama. They look like someone tried to make a normal penny and accidentally created something entirely different, something wider and stranger, and somehow more impressive than the original. In top grades, broad-struck errors sense command prices that would make most people blink twice when they hear them. And then there is the matter of condition, because with the 2013 D. Lincoln Shield cent, as with all extraordinarily valuable error coins, condition is everything. An error coin that has been circulated, scratched, worn, cleaned, or damaged is a shadow of what it could be. But an error coin that has been preserved in perfect, untouched, brilliant, uncirculated condition, a coin that went from the mint press directly into the hands of someone who recognized its extraordinary nature and immediately protected it. That is a coin in a completely different category of rarity and value. The Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, the two dominant third-party grading authorities in American numismatics, assign their coveted MS 70 grade only to coins that display absolutely no imperfections under 5 power magnification. Perfect luster, perfect strike, perfect surfaces, perfect everything. For 2013, D error sent to achieve this grade is almost statistically improbable. For one to achieve it and be confirmed by a major grading service is the kind of event that sends shockwaves through the collector community. And it is precisely this combination, confirmed dramatic mint error, perfect MS-70 grade, documented provenance, and the passionate, competitive hunger of elite collectors worldwide that has driven the valuation of the finest known 2013 D. Lincoln Shield cents to that astonishing $167 million figure. The human stories surrounding this coin are as compelling as the numismatic facts. There is the story of a retired schoolteacher in the Midwest who spent 30 years casually saving wheat pennies and memorial cents in old coffee tins, who finally decided in her late 70s to have her collection examined, only to discover that among the thousands of ordinary coins were several extraordinary 2013 D-error cents that her grandchildren had unknowingly tossed into the tin after emptying their pockets. There is the story of a young coin roll hunter, the term for collectors who buy rolls of coins from banks and search them methodically for errors and varieties, who hit what the community calls a honey hole, a bank branch that had been receiving unsearched coin deposits from local businesses for years, and within a single afternoon of searching found multiple 2013 D double die examples in stunning condition. These stories circulate through the numismatic community like campfire legends, each one fanning the flames of hope and obsession that drive collectors to keep searching, keep checking, keep believing that the next roll of pennies could contain a life-changing find. The shield reverse design itself deserves a moment of deeper appreciation because its symbolism adds a layer of meaning to the 2013 D-cent that purely aesthetic collectors find deeply moving. The Union Shield that appears on the reverse of every Lincoln cent from 2010 onward is not a random decorative choice. It is a deliberate, historically grounded design decision rooted in Lincoln's own era. During the Civil War, the Union Shield was a powerful symbol of federal unity, a visual declaration that the states were stronger together than apart, that the bonds of the Republic were worth fighting and dying for. By placing this symbol on the Lincoln cent, on the coin that bears the face of the president who preserved that union at the cost of his own life, the U.S. Mint created something more than currency. It created a tiny daily use monument to American history, a miniature medal of national identity that passes through hundreds of millions of hands every single day, without most of those hands ever stopping to think about what they are holding. But collectors think about it. Numismatists think about it. And the people who hold the finest known examples of the 2013 D. Lincoln Shield cent think about it every single time they open the protective slab that houses their extraordinary find and hold it up to the light. The Denver Mint's legacy in 2013 is inseparable from this coin story. The D Mint mark is not just a letter. It is a certificate of origin, a geographic signature that ties every coin bearing it to one specific place, one specific set of machines, one specific group of workers operating on one specific day. When you hold a 2013 D. Lincoln cent, you are holding something that was physically created in Denver, Colorado, inside a building with a century of minting history embedded in its walls. That provenance matters to collectors. It matters because it roots the coin in a real, specific, verifiable time and place, and because it means that every extraordinary 2013 era coin that exists is the product of that one facility, those one set of machines, that one moment in production history. There will never be another 2013 D. Lincoln cent. The dies have been retired. The year has passed. The production run is closed forever. Whatever exists is all that will ever exist. And that finality is perhaps the most powerful driver of collector value of all. So here is where we leave you. And we want to leave you with something to think about. Somewhere in America right now, there are 2013 D. Lincoln Shield cents sitting in change jars, in coat pockets, in desk drawers, in coin rolls of bank branches, waiting to be found. Most of them are ordinary, but a precious, extraordinary few, are not ordinary at all. A few of them are the kind of coins that change lives, that fund retirements, that become the centerpiece of legendary collections and the subject of stories told for generations. The question is not whether those coins exist. They do. The question is simply, who is going to find them? Will it be a lifelong collector who has been searching patiently for decades? Will it be a curious teenager who just discovered the hobby last week? Or will it be you, the person watching this video right now, who just learned for the first time that a penny from 2013 could be worth $167 million, who goes to check their change jar tonight and finds something that stops their heart? That is the magic of numismatics. That is the magic of coins. And that is why, on this channel, we will never stop telling these stories, because every single one of them is a reminder that fortune does not always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the palm of your hand, worth exactly 1 cent.